We pan into an establishing shot of this utterly dilapidated ghost town. The acid-blasted remains of half-collapsed shacks and fully collapsed rubble. There's a building with half the second story missing. There's one with just 2 walls and a doorframe still intact. There's one that's just a bathtub now. And an etcetera's worth of others, all left in wildly varying states of disrepair. Though all of them shared this one common trait. They had once, as a collective, been the homes and businesses of untold thousands, and now merely encompass ground zero of the Thrall's most gruesome invasion to date. The year was 6867 when the Skella clerics attacked, when they descended upon that hapless village under the cover of night. Spellbooks in hand, they set about weaving their dark magics, set about coaxing forth a delightfully devilish spell indeed. For once they spoke their unholy prayers and summoned forth the rains in the name of their god, Umbrali, the Lich Queen. Literally everybody had been killed. Not just the men, women, and children, but the Skelemen also. Any living or unliving thing within a 200-mile radius was instantly slain by that unholy, sulfuric concoction, which even 5 decades after the fact still poured intermittently from the skies above. We hard cut straight into a shot of a busted-up wooden carriage lying on its side at the bottom of a ditch. Title card, present day. That's right. We're setting the mood all serious-like right from the get-go with this one. So sit down, shut up, and buckle your fuckles, because presently, into the scene sprinted Krystall the raddest.
And lo, it seems my bounty has taken the liberty of incapacitating himself for my convenience. Don't mind if I do. What? He's not here? God shit-ass fuck. Rah'dny, where did you go?
The elf damn near turned that wagon inside out trying to locate any trace of her bounty. But her efforts were in vain. The warrior Rah'dny was gone, and only the lion remained. For as far as the eye could see, the previously clear cyan skies were now shrouded behind angry purple storm clouds so dark they'd make yo mama say, "God damn it! Who turned out the lights? Did yo daddy forget to pay the Con Wiz Edison bill again? I swear to Goblin Jesus, that one pump chumping, cheap-ass son of a lich's left tit ain't getting none of my luscious lumps till he ponies up the dough and the lights come back on. And before yo mama could even finish that rant.
I'm no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure clouds aren't supposed to be purple.
Her gaze returned down to the lion lying in a crumpled heap on the ground.
Come on, buddy. Let's find some shelter from the storm. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
How's it hanging, ladies and folks? My name is Chris R.R. Balzo, and this is my show. You're about to hear Chapter 15 of my ongoing sword and sorcery sci-fi narrative. A story written, read, performed, and edited, all with your ear holes in mind. So don't even concern yourself with going back to catch up quite yet, because this episode, like every episode, just so happens to be the perfect jumping on point. And then, once you're hooked, feel free to go back and check out all the previous episodes of the show. There's plenty there to keep you busy till next week's tale drops. But for now, all I need you to do is sit back, relax, and allow me to unfurl the wizard scroll. The man, the myth, the legend, King Rah'dny of lich-slaying fame. He awoke as he so often did as of late, in chains, bound at the wrists and ankles by tight, circulation-cutting cuffs that, while metallic in texture, more closely resembled something ethereal in appearance. For they were made from stuff the likes of which the warrior could only describe as stuff. The kind of stuff that could send a sane man spiraling into madness and or make a madman sane after a mere glance at that blasted, otherworldly material. And glance upon it he did, as his shattered, splintered psyche, irreparably damaged after his 50-year-long trip beyond the veil, as it miraculously knit itself back together, as if by magic.
Who dares to cure my mental trauma as if by magic? Show yourself!
Good. You're finally awake, King Rah'd'ny. And lo, a thin, knobby-looking figure shuffled out from the darkness that had shrouded his presence thus far, emerged with that gnarled, ancient wooden staff in hand. The one with the smoky, opalescent glowing orb nestled atop it, illuminating the wrinkled old man's wrinkled old face as he made his approach from the shadows.
Who goes there?
The guy who saved your ass from torrential acid rains, you sorry son of a lich. Literally. The crash of thunder suddenly echoed through the craggy granite chamber for added effect. And as this unassuming old man hobbled closer into Rah'dny's field of vision, the warrior took note of the man's pointy hat embroidered with a pattern of moons and stars, the telltale sign of wizardry that sat atop this blasted old fool's magic-addled head.
Not one more step, wizard. I might be all jacked up and bound in place and junk, but I'll still kick your fucking ass.
I suppose you very well could, my king. Though I'm afraid that it would not be in your best interest to do so at this time.
Psh, I don't give two flying fucks about your wizardly riddles and rhymes. Now, speak plainly, you blasted old fuck, and tell me who you are and what you want from me.
You have no idea who stands before you right now, don't you? I am Azataz the Wise, a.k.a. the Wiz with the Biz, a.k.a. the Dopini Bopini, a.k.a. your judge, jury, and executioner. Azataz diddled his fingers and shot off a few magic missiles into the ceiling just as a flex. And let me tell you, Rah'dny's heart sank as his balls shot up. He could almost feel them collide somewhere in his lower intestine as the wizard proceeded. Now tell me, my king, what the heckaronian cheese has brought you out here to the northeastern Badlands?
The acid from the rain across these plains, very painful for undead and living folk alike. That makes this the only place in Yergsland where that lich's influence can never take root. So I came here to regroup, see what supplies I could scrounge up from those acid-blasted shacks out there before beginning my quest to reclaim the BFS as my own.
I'm sorry, what? BFS? What, is that one of those newfangled K-pop bands I keep hearing so much about?
It's short for Big Fucking Sword. The blade that I had once wielded against the Lich in pitched combat 50 years ago. The very same one I shall wield once more to end her eternal reign. Once and for all. For real this time.
I see. So with all that in mind, here's my offer.
Using my almost infinite reserves of mana, I shall cast you down even lower than you lie already. I shall out express your ass straight to Skullcap Castle when I get bored, then I laugh all the way to the back as you spend eternity plumbing ever further still to depths of despair and misery you couldn't possibly begin to describe with your mortal tongue alone.
Or, option B, I provide you with food, drink, some fresh clothes, mend your wounds, and you go merrily on your way. In exchange for a teensy tiny little favor from me. Now, Rah'dny was by no stretch a man who trusted magics, and would rather avoid the stuff entirely if he could help it. But that didn't mean he was fucking stupid. In fact, Presently, he pondered his predicament long and hard, setting the inner machinations of his recently mended mind to overdrive. All while he and the wizard locked eyes in silence for an uncomfortably long amount of time. He knew full well that he was backed up against a corner, caught between a rock, a hard place, a conniving old spellcaster, and some man-eating rain to boot. And even if he played like it wasn't so, he knew that he was in dire need of this wizard's assistance. Knew that whatever sick, twisted errand this old fool could possibly conjure up in that magic-blasted maelstrom of a mind, whatever it was, it couldn't possibly hold a candle to option A. He knew, whether he liked it or not, he had been sloppy, hadn't covered his tracks, and probably would have been dead already had he not been rescue-napped by this grimacing old man. But he also knew that owing a wizard a favor, owing one of those deceitful magic users anything, can and will spell one's doom 9 times out of 10. So he broke the silence that had since grown stagnant in the stale cavern air between them, with a cautious yet stern rebuttal.
What kind of favor?
Oh, it's rather simple, really, he said as he pulled a small plastic baggie of magic shrooms from his sleeve, as he plucked one out and held it all up in Rah'dny's grill. All I need you to do is eat this.
You truly and honestly expect me to subject myself to that place beyond places? I can't. Not again, Never again. Do you understand me? No fucking dice. No way.
Look, Fat, look. Here's the deal. A certain elf has followed you out here in search of your bounty, shirking her me-mandated trash-picking duties for a shot at 69,420 gold.
Well, shit. With a prize that high, I'd be after me, too.
And this elf, let me tell you, she's lightning quick with a blade, and even has a couple low-level spells in her repertoire. In your current state, I'd say you'd have 26 seconds tops before she gets a good nut punch in on you, ties you up real tight, and escorts you straight to Skullcap Castle. Unless, of course, you partake of this magic shroom and awaken your mind's eye.
Come on. Does it have to be the magic shrooms? I think I'd be a little more comfortable with, puffs on a wizard weed pipe, or if you got some cherub dust, I'll toot that up right now. Shit, I'll even lick a toad's asshole.
You must eat the shroom, my king. It's the only way,
he lied.
Come now, I'm asking this not as a wily old wizard, but as someone who has seen firsthand what the Lich Queen is capable of. Someone who was at Wizstock when shit hit the fan and saw for himself as you nearly did her in. Someone who knows that you shall triumph should you two battle again. This magic shroom is your only hope if you wish to be victorious against the elf. If you wish to continue onwards in search of your sword. Nay, if you wish for me to heal you, to prepare you for this upcoming bout to the best of my ability, instead of simply claiming all that reward money for myself.
The wizard's gross old man hand inched ever closer to the warrior's face as he spoke. Close enough so that Rah'dny might take in the sight of that shroom in all its vile, blackened, and dried glory. He took a whiff of the stink lines emanating off of it, nearly gagged, then looked back up at the old man's eyes before bellowing his response.
Oh, you twisted little nugget of wizard shit. I'm in. God, that tastes horrible. Oh, God. Shit.
Okay, bye!
Aren't you gonna unlock these chains now?
What chains?
What do you mean, what chains? Talking about the goddamn ones around my...
Rah'dny glanced down at his hands for the first time throughout this entire exchange. And miraculously, those mind-boggling cuffs were gone. If they were ever even there to begin with. So he directed his gaze back up to the retreating old man and that glowing magic staff of his. But the wizard was no longer there. Gone without a trace. Save for the large silver platter with a whole roast chicken on it, some rice and beans on the side, the large glass vial of red liquid with a big plus on the front, the common steel sword, and the fresh set of leathers, now hanging from a stalactite with a coat hanger taped to it. All just materialized from thin air in a couple poofs of smoke. And so he drank of the potion, allowed that brew to knit his shattered body back together. Then he ate his meal like a man going to the goddamn electric chair. Loud, fast, and with his bare hands. For the wizard had not left him utensils.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so fucking good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm starving. Or, well, maybe a little bit. Wait a second. Where's that lion I came here with?
There was no reply, for Rah'dny was alone in the cave. How's it hanging, ladies and folks? My name is Chris R.R. Bauzo, and today I bring you an exciting news bulletin. I've launched a brand new secondary feed, the Wizard Scroll Nights. Prepare your pretty little ear holes for all the dark, daring, and downright delightful side content that's just too hot to be contained in the Wizard Scroll proper. From now on, this will be the place to go for all my wizard hangs.
I have a picture of Macaulay Culkin smiling in the actual... in the script. On like page 5 of the script. It's... There he is.
Wizard rolls.
I saw the commercial for the honey pepper pimento. What's that shit on top? Oh.
Wizards in my city.
I was wondering if you could cast a spell on me, perhaps.
I cast spells on you every other day, Daniel. What the fuck? Now you want this shit?
And other things as well.
No! This is my device, and I shall do it as I shall! Never! Do not tip me over, fuck! I gotta get out of here!
So don't miss out on the adventures that await ye in the moonlit alleys of the Wizard Scroll Nights. Subscribe now and thank me later, because things are about to get weird. She had carried the beast to safety just in time. Had scooped that prone, bloodied lion from beneath the wreckage where he lay, unceremoniously ditched at the bottom of a literal ditch. So she cradled the lion in her arms like how one would hold a large child, with his front paws and head dangling limply over one shoulder and his rear legs wrapped around her waist. She struggled to reach around the barrel-sized torso of the beast with those gauntlet-clad arms of hers, the ones that shimmered a brilliant golden light, appearing all the more brighter beneath the sky-blackening overcast that hung heavily in the troposphere above. As her slow, careful gait grew more accustomed to the bulk of her passenger, then transitioned into a rapid series of long, purposeful strides that she used to zoom through what had once been Main Street of this long-forgotten ghost town. Until happening upon a relatively small, relatively immaculate concrete stoop. That spotless, bright gray slab of cement steps with the black metal handrails. The stoop that was shielded from the brunt of the acid's corrosive effects by a massive, rusted red metal awning clinging precariously above. It must have been bolted to the facade of that stone cabin ages ago, though had somehow remained more or less intact after 50 years of intermittent acidic downpours. Just about everything else in the vicinity had been bathed in fermenting, frothy purple fizz time and time again, decimated into disrepair. But all the while, some way, somehow, the rains had merely rolled off this particular awning like regular rain off a duck's back. And so, the pair was safe. At least, about as safe as one could be out in the northeastern Badlands without an acid-proof umbrella. As the first steaming purple droplets of dread precipitation made landfall upon that already devastated village, the stench of rot and decay overtook the entirety of the elf's face, which quickly contorted into the puckered lip, squinty-eyed, and pinch-fingers-over-nose kind of face that somebody could only make after smelling the nastiest fart of their entire life. She gingerly laid the battered, bruised, and bloodied cat beast on the ground beneath the awning's protection. allowing him to sprawl out into as comfortable of a position as he could manage. As she whirled around to the set of wooden double doors that was the entrance of this miraculously upright building. With a swift, vivacious roundhouse kick, she blasted the rickety old thing off its hinges and made to step inside, only to discover, much to her dismay, that this building of stone and mortar only had the one wall remaining, that the rest had long since been eaten away and reduced to rubble, rubbish, and refuse. So this was it then, she mused. Stuck under an awning with about 54 square feet to her name. A cramped little rectangular refuge made all the less spacious by that massive, near-dead animal whimpering in agony, leading out upon those otherwise immaculate concrete steps. The ones now slicked red with his freely flowing gore. And worst of all, with no supplies with which to mend his wounds or alleviate the bleeding, the poor creature was as good as dead already. For the novice wizard had but a single spell or two in her repertoire, and as versatile as Magic Missile was, in this scenario, it seemed that her magical prowess would not be of much utility whatsoever. Unless, with the flick of the wrist, she brandished her wand, gazed ponderously upon the apple-shaped, apple-sized gemstone impaled upon it, and, eyes aglow with hope renewed, she gripped this mystical fruit of her labor. In her desperation, she placed one hand on the red, delicious tip of her wand, the other on its obsidian shaft, then slowly, cautiously, carefully, she began to pull. No sooner than 5 nanoseconds had passed before she changed her mind entirely. As she looked down upon her crystal apple, quite literally her hopes and dreams condensed into solid, crystalline form, and she cringed at the prospect of losing that most prized possession, of losing that which had coaxed forth her magical talents altogether. No, not the apple. Not for no bloody mammal but her damn self. Though it nearly split her heart in twain to admit it, she had gone through too much shit to obtain it, and more recently, even more shit to keep the damn thing in her possession. And while the creature's salvation could have been ensured with the mere act of sliding that crystal apple down his gullet, after the struggle, strife, and sacrifice that this most powerful of MacGuffins had already required of her thus far, for it to simply be fed to a beast was positively, absolutely off the table. So, with a lump of sadness bulging in her throat, she stroked the chin of the massive, near-dead lion, acute pangs of guilt already taking root within her soul as she established direct eye contact with him. She would not, could not avert her gaze as she tended to the creature in this manner for 17 minutes straight, until his pained whimpers eventually crossfaded into a weak, near silent mewling. The beast drifted off into calm, peaceful sleep by virtue of the gentle caress of her scritches. And then, and only then, was she able to work up the courage to do right by that poor, unfortunate soul, to bring his insufferable suffering to an abrupt, painless end by virtue of the magic missile she blasted clean through his heart. It sure was a depressing sight, that once taut, once muscular maelstrom of teeth and claws, cold, debased, reduced, and killed off just like that. She reassured herself that killing the cat beast was an act of mercy, of kindness. In her mind, she knew this to be true, but that alone couldn't stop her heart from feeling otherwise. So she bawled out crying, just the ugliest, makeup smearingest kind of cry that not even the softest, most pliable handkerchief could ever dab dry. Because out there, in the northeastern Badlands, where a measly 9x6 piece of scrap metal could mean the difference between survival and death, no amount of cold, calculative cunning could ever dam up the geyser of emotion streaming forth from her eyes, rolling down her cheekbones to her chin, dripping off from there and landing right inside the big red bullet hole now embedded in the beast's torso. Though for as tragic and anticlimactic as such a demise seemed, she supposed, the traditions of the forest heavily encouraged taking advantage of this type of situation. The lion was dead. No amount of moping was gonna change that, and he most certainly lacked any agency in the matter of what would become of his corpse. For this reason, it was customary for the elves of the Tiger Woods to repurpose the whole animal, to make use of every last tendon, hair, and tooth, to produce food and gear of the entire creature. And so, after her brief outburst of emotion, the elf closed her eyes and pressed an index finger to her forehead. She lightly massaged that spot until her whole, undivided attention was focused on naught but that single, gentle sensation. The fog of bad vibes that had overtaken her mind. The sight of that dead creature lying spread eagle just to her right. Even the incessant, ear-shattering sound of rain beating down on awning. All of it was swept to the wayside as she took a deep breath and exhaled slowly.
No, not yet. Not here. Not now. Not while there's work to do. Time to clock in.
She snapped herself from the trance with a snap of her fingers and quickly got to work. Rummaging through her bag of holding, she searched for anything she could use as firewood. Settling on an old rocking chair, which she then smashed to bits, built a suitable fire from the pieces, then set about the daunting task at hand. With a makeshift knife she had fashioned out of a piece of scrap metal and a broken leg of chair, she skinned the beast bare, then brined the hide in the nearby puddle of blood. An hours-long process that would eventually dye the hide a deep crimson red. So, while she waited, she pared the muscle and sinew into thin strips, lying them over some discarded chicken wire, then strung the whole setup above the fire with care. She seasoned the meat with a bespeckling of herbs and spices. The elf carried some on her person at all times, securely stowed in a nondescript clay jar, kept them handy this whole time, in case of a rainy day. The entrails and guts she had crushed into a fine paste, smeared it under her eyes all cliché-like, then bottled it all up in a different clay jar she had. She figured lion paste could possibly sell well on the black market, or at the very least taste alright on pasta. So she scooped the goop from the stew, retained as much as she could in that jar before moving on to the final, most tedious step of them all. With the beast's skeleton, she fashioned tools, utensils, and weaponry. A simple fork and knife, sewing needles, a few daggers, a hatchet, ninja stars, and even a couple of swords. Though her proudest achievement was the flail she had crafted out of the spinal cord and a big rock with a bunch of teeth and claws glued to it. No part of the beast had been discarded, and after several hours of skinning, deboning, cooking, gutting, mourning, she had run out of lion to work with. Just in time, too. Her jerky was just about ready. She figured for as gaunt and scrawny as that lion had been, what little meat he did possess sure did make for some good-ass jerky. So she munched contentedly on her meal, as the bright orange glow of the fire shone upon the new getup she had nimbly stitched up during the interim. The lion head headdress that presently obscured her head from the eyebrows up, and the long-sleeve, form-fitting tunic that obscured her body from neck to taint. The sky above the village had, at long last, transitioned from dark gray to pitch black, signaling to Krystall that twilight had, at long last, made way for nightfall. And so, with nothing better to do, with all the time in the world to do it, Krystall figured she might as well ride out the night high as giraffe nuts, and procured a dope-looking wooden pipe and a small pouch of wizard weed from her bag of holding.
Oh my god! I almost yacked!
I almost did yak. Oh.
And lo, The stale, rotten air of her campsite was fumigated, enhanced and rejuvenated with the scent of that hazy, aromatic smoke blasting from her maw. As she coughed her fucking lungs up, took up her pipe, and repeated the cycle several more times. For several minutes, she took hit after hit of that magic herb until at long last she had toked her fill.
And now to get some shot eye.
1 hour later,
And now to get some shot eye.
2 hours later,
And now...
but as it turns out, concrete ain't the most comfortable thing in the world to sleep on. So she just kind of lie there for a couple hours trying out a montage of different sleeping positions. Flat on her back, on her right side, her left, on her stomach, sitting straight up, hanging upside down like a bat, you name it. And right when she finally felt herself drifting off to a deep, dreamless slumber...
Krystall, are you all right? I've been worried sick about you.
Azataz? What the heck, man? I'm trying to sleep. Wait, where are you?
I'm currently at an undisclosed location, speaking to you via a long-distance telepathy spell. I understand that you've wandered off quite a ways away from the freeway. Is everything all right? Are you hurt?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Just on a little side quest is all. How do you know where I am?
My dear, you seem to forget that I am Azataz the Wise. I am called such because I am very wise and I know a great myriad of things, such as how to sew a tracking rune into a scarf, how to perform telepathy spells, and the warrior Rah'dny's current location, to name a few.
Did you say Rah'dny?
Now I've got your attention. Now, be honest. Did you or did you not abandon your community service duties to find this man?
Correction. I completed my duties and then left. That freeway is spotless now, thanks to me. And besides, with a bounty as high as his, can you really blame a gal for shooting her shot?
I suppose I would have conducted in a similar fashion if I was in your shoes.
Right. So you said you know where he is. Would you care to disclose that information at this time?
Of course. He's holed himself up in an underground cave not 5 miles from where you reside presently. If you'd like to get the jump on him, I could teleport you directly to him. In exchange for 10% of the reward money, of course.
10%? Fuck no. I'll just wait until the rain lets up and go find him myself.
Who's to say that awning you're under stays intact for that long?
He asked as the awning above began to creak and cronk in a suspicious manner.
It has been there for over 50 years. I'd say it's only a matter of time before...
All right, fine. You'll get your damn 10%.
6.9%!
Whatever the fuck, fine. Just get me out of here.
Very well, girl. We have a deal. Teleportation spell!
And lo, Krystall was gone in a flash. Teleported off to her destination in the nick of time, too. Because not 5 seconds after she had been whisked away from the scene, a bolt of lightning struck the awning and it fucking exploded, toppling what remained of the structure in the process. Thanks for tuning in to me screaming about wizards for a half hour. If you're still here, odds are that you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed making it. Much like Hey It's Ali C on Apple Podcasts, who writes, "This has got to be the best podcast I have listened to in a long time. The fact that the episodes have the ability to slip in some raunchy humor as well as create an epic storyline is astounding. The care and attention that gets put into making each episode can be clearly heard, from the ambience music to the SFX sounds. Overall, the time and effort that gets put into making this podcast should not go unnoticed because it is absolutely incredible. 5 stars, baby. Thank you, Ali C, for the glowing review. If you would like to have your feedback read here on the show as well, go ahead and let me know what you thought of today's tale, either in review form on your podcasting platform of choice or anywhere else on the internet. peep the link to my link tree in the episode description for all manner of ways to reach out to yours truly. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Discord. Discord's probably the best way to reach me directly, but, you know, they're all there. YouTube comments work as well. Check out the animatics I've been posting. Those are really nice. If you haven't already, check out the previous episodes of the show and subscribe to the feed. That way, you'll be all caught up for next Saturday's episode, the finale of Season 1 Redone, which will be one you do not want to miss. But anyway, word of mouth is how this show can continue to grow, so share the shit out of it with everyone you know. And until next Saturday, bye.